7 decades of country music. Over 70 artists, all in one room sharing their songs, their stories, and their lives with you. That's right. This is a family reunion of country singers and songwriters, of legends and legend makers, of friends and family. An old-fashioned get-together of historic proportions, and you're invited too. So why not pull up a chair, get ready to laugh, cry, and tap your feet to some of the best country music ever. This is Country's Family Reunion Nashville. Let's listen in on Volume 1.
Ken, folks, it's a long, long time since I laid eyes on you. And I know I ain't seen Mary Lou since 1962. So Mom and Papa asked me if I'd write and let you know we're planning on a big reunion in a week or so. Gonna have a family reunion, and a good old-fashioned outdoor barbecue. Gonna have a family reunion, and even if you're a 19th cousin, you're invited too. Okay. Now, Mary, you be sure to come. We'll have some fun again. You know I've had a crush on you since I was only 10. Remember when I kissed you, Mama said it was a sin. What's the harm in kissing when you kiss and Ken? Gonna have a family reunion, and a good old-fashioned outdoor barbecue. Gonna have a family reunion, and even if you're a 15th cousin, you're invited too.
Well, that's what we're having, ain't it? Family reunion. We're all together one more time. It's wonderful to see everybody. A few folks that have never been here before, and we welcome you. There's an old boy sitting right back over here, probably knows more about family reunions than anybody here. And if you guys have never met this man before, he's billed as the funniest man in America, and he sure gets my vote. And let's welcome him to our family reunion, James Gregory.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, Bill, I've been doing this so long that when I first started, America was just 13 states. So. First of all, I'd like to say this, first of all. I kind of feel like I did the first time I worked with Randy Travis. Meaning everybody here is the legendary performer, your songwriters, your singers. I can't do any of that. I'm just funny some of the time. Back in the early 90s, Randy Travis had heard one of my tapes, and he liked it, and he wanted me to open some shows for him. It was doing Lake Tahoe at Harrah's Hotel Casino. So the entertainment director told me, he said, you just do like 17, 18 minutes. We'll have an intermission, then Randy will come out. So naturally, everybody's out for Randy. They don't know me from Adam. So after the show, I'm kind of in the lobby at the entrance at the concession table, trying to hustle some tapes, you know. So this elderly lady came up to me, real elderly, and she said, you didn't sing nothing tonight. I said, no, ma'am. I said, I'm a comedian. I can't sing. You didn't sing a single song, did you? I said, no. I said, I'm a comedian. She said, did Randy know you couldn't sing before he hired you? And I had the little cassette tapes laying there. She said, how much is this tape? I said, it's $10. She said, do you sing on this tape? This is a true story. I said, no, ma'am, I'm a comedian. I don't sing. You know, she said, you ought to come out with a tape that's got a song on it. I said, whether you want to buy one or not. She said, are you funnier on the tape than you were on the stage tonight? I was about to say, she said, no, I think I'll save my money. But so somebody that was working with Randy, and maybe his road manager, kind of heard about that was standing around, and I guess they told Randy. The next night, Randy comes into my dressing room. He said, I need to talk to you for a couple of minutes. I said, that's fine. And he closed the door behind him. So I thought I might be in trouble or something, you know. He said, James, we need to talk. I said, what about Randy? He said, you should have told me you couldn't sing before I hired you. So for the whole 5-night run, somebody in his group, maybe a band member, or even a guy that worked backstage, the minute they saw me every night, they'd say, James, you should have told us you couldn't sing before. Thank you.
We're talking about families. You've got a new song. I say a new one. I think it's new. That you've written, I guess, and recorded.
I didn't write it. I recorded it. Some friends wrote it for me.
It's about your mother and
Actually,
dad.
it was one of my ex-husbands that was one of the co-writers. I'm not kidding. But we're still friends.
But it's about your mom and dad, right?
What, honey?
It's about your mom and dad?
It is.
Yeah. Would you sing a little bit of it for
I
us?
will. Can I sing the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Please do.
It's called Opal and Euless, and this is how I was raised, and they're very, very special. So I'm going to sit unless I need to stand. On a side dirt road sits a little brick house surrounded by a field of corn. Just a pull in the drive doesn't dazzle your eyes. The house has weathered some storms. When you open the car and step on the porch, you may wonder why you're here. But knock on the door, and when it opens, the reason will be clear. Inside, you'll find Opal and Euless, offering hugs and handshakes, and a plate of cornbread and beans. Take the time to eat with Opal and Euless around their dinner table. You'll learn what real love means. Now Opal was a jewel that Euless found on a backwoods Arkansas farm. Euless was a handsome logger, full of that old country charm. He borrowed the money for their wedding bands, built them a house with his own 2 hands. She bore him a family and made them a home, and furnished it with love. Inside, you'll find Opal and Euless, offering hugs and handshakes, and a plate of cornbread and beans. Take the time to eat with Opal and Euless around their dinner table. You'll learn what real love means. You may not see sparks or passion like you would on a movie screen, but you will see within this house a love God meant to be. Inside, you'll find Opal and Euless, offering hugs and handshakes, and a plate of cornbread and beans. Take the time to eat with Opal and Euless around their dinner table.
I got to tell you, especially since Doug is here. Doug will appreciate this story. My daddy passed away in August, and real suddenly. What, honey?
No, I said let's eat.
Well, we had plenty of food, I'll tell you that.
That was bad.
But
I'm sorry.
But my dad was such a character, Doug, and he was always pulling jokes and joking around and stuff. So what happened was, I feel like, was a real gift from the Lord. And he had so many friends and stuff. His visitation just lasted so many hours the night before. And he loved country music. So we started his service that day. We wanted it to be a celebration of his life. And so we started with Opal and Euless, and then I had a Merle Haggard and Marty Stewart song, The Farmer's Blues, played. And my sister, she said, I can't get up there and talk. She said, so I'm going to write something and let the preacher read it. Well, we had he took notes on this little bitty piece of paper. And she wanted, after they read what she wrote, she wanted them to play the song The Box by Randy Travis. And we tried to find that CD and everything, and it was a little town where we're from, so we couldn't find it. And the day of the service, the funeral home said they could download a song if we had the title. So the last I heard was that they had this song. Okay, so we were, y'all are laughing already, but and so they were gonna read my sister's words and then play The Box, and then we were going to sing a cappella Precious Memories and get the congregation to sing. Well, the preacher read what she wrote, and then he read something one of the grandkids gave him, and then he read something that somebody else gave him, and he said, they want you to join them in singing Precious Memories. Well, the guy that's playing the tapes is off this little room there where the preacher is. 60 minutes were up. And he's got a list there. So we sung Precious Memories. Well, I figured he'd forgot to mention the song The Box, so we go on. So we're down to the end of the service, and the next thing that should have happened was Go Rest High Up on That Mountain. Well, so this song starts playing. Now, Doug, you got to tell the first 2 lines of your song. This is what came on instead of The Box. Okay, go ahead.
Lord. I said the night you left me, nothing worse could ever happen. Seeing you with someone else proved that I was wrong.
All right, now that's what played. And I'm sitting, and I'm sitting there, and my brother's next to me, and he said, "What is that?" And I said, "We're expecting to hear the Randy Travis song tomorrow." And I said, "I don't know." Well, I lean out there and I look at my sister, and she said, "That's the wrong song." So I look at the preacher and I said, "That's the wrong song." And he goes, they don't have a clue what I said. Well, when I realized this is Doug's song, so I know what's coming up. I'd be better off in a pine box on a slow train to Georgia. So I said to my husband, I said, I got to do something. So I jump up, I run over there and open the door because the preacher's just sitting there like a knot on a log. And so I opened that door and I said, "That's the wrong song." I said, "Stop that one and play Go Rest High Up on the Mountain." Well, but I didn't catch it before the first line of the chorus. It played at Daddy's funeral. Well, and when I turned around, the congregation is stuffing laughter. Some of them kind of looked shocked that we'd picked that song. And I said, that was the wrong song. Great song, just the wrong occasion for that song. And I said, but if Daddy is getting to see this service, if the Lord's letting me sing, he is loving every minute of it. So that's a precious memory for me.
What a great story. Doug, before the visit's over, you're going to have to sing that song.
Absolutely, and I'll try not to laugh. Okay.
We'll all listen to it different from the way we have before.
I had a couple come through the line, the autograph line one time. She says, "You know, we played that Pine Box song at our wedding." And I went, "Why?" At a wedding. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
People asking me to sing "Don't Touch Me" for their anniversary.
Johnny?
Doug and I were in Wisconsin playing at a birthday party, and my mother was there, and as a joke, well, we had a big party every year, and these people gave me this blow-up doll as a gag gift, and I was up on stage, and naturally I didn't want to keep it up on stage with me, so I gave it to my mother, who was sitting at the front table. And my mom was sitting out there with a blow-up doll. And I'm up on stage, and I finished my little set there, you know. And this band wasn't, they were good, but, you know, just didn't know some of Doug's stuff. Doug had got up there, and I stayed on maybe a little longer than I should have, and so somebody had overserved Doug just a little. And Doug got up, and it was not me. It was not me. And so anyway, Doug got up there, and he was trying to sing this song, and this band didn't. He stopped. He said, "Why don't you guys just take a break? Let me do this." So Doug starts singing this song. Well, the drummer gets up and walks around front and had an urn in his hand, and went up to Doug. And I'm thinking, what the? I'm sitting there with my mother with the blow-up doll and watching Doug. And this guy walks up to Doug and says, Doug said, "What's this?" And Doug had a little glass of whatever it was. And the guy opened the top of the urn. He said, "This is Shorty. This is our old drummer." Said, and his wish was to be carried around with us on the road and do a little traveling. Doug looked at him and says, "Shorty looks pretty bad. Looks like he could use a drink." Put a little bit on top of it. The guy put the lid on short and split.
That's the last we saw of Shorty.
And Doug finished his set. I'll be better off in a pine box.
Well, we've been on the subject of food, and I'm sitting here looking across the room at Leroy Van Dyke. I don't know what you eat. What do you eat to stay so young? You don't look a day older than you did when I met you 40 years ago.
Gladys puts formaldehyde in my coffee every morning. We were someplace at a fair. Some woman came up, and she was very nice, a nice comment, just like Bill Anderson did. Said, "How do you," asked Gladys, "how does he stay looking so healthy?" She said, "I put formaldehyde in his coffee every morning." She said, "Oh." She said, No, don't do that. But you never know what people are going to say when they come up to you at a show. No. You have no idea what they're going to say. Sometimes they don't know what to say, so they say something stupid. But we play the Missouri State Fair, my home fair, every year, and have for about 35 years. 2 years ago, a guy came up to me at the fair after the show, and he said, knowing that I have a younger brother who is a doctor in Sedalia, Missouri, he said, "It must be nice to have a doctor in the family to take care of your health needs." I said, "My brother don't do nothing for me. He's a gynecologist." That's true.
What would it take to get a little bit of the auctioneer out of Leroy?
Oh, about $1.50 and a ballpoint pen.
I think we can probably do that.
I don't know. Can you guys see me over there? When I do this, I want to hear a chord. You know the routine? Okay. Maybe I better stand up, because I'm kind of short. I'm not like Jimmy C. They can't see me 4 feet away. Okay, what's the first chord on this thing? Okay, you know what to do, okay. Hey, well, all right, sir, here we go there, and what are they going to give for 'em? I'm in 25 to get 30 now, 5 for a bid to 5 and a $40 under the pine there. There was a boy in Arkansas who would listen to his ma when she told him he should go to school. He'd sneak away in the afternoon, take a little walk, then pretty soon you'd find him at the local auction barn. He'd stand there to listen carefully, then pretty soon he began to see how the auctioneer could talk so rapidly. He said, "Oh my, it's do or die. I've got to learn that auction cry. Gotta make my mark and be an auctioneer." All together now. 25 on the bid and now 30 down to 30 billing. Give me 30, make it 30 bid. The moment 30 down the bid, give me 30. Bid 30 down the bid. 30 down the bid and now 35. Will they give me 35 to make it 35 to bid 35? Who would have bid it at a $35 bid? As time went on, he did his best, and all could see he didn't jest. He practiced calling bids both night and day. His pap would find him behind the barn just working up an awful storm as he tried to imitate the auctioneer. Then his pap said, son, we just can't stand to have a mediocre man selling things at auction using our good name. I'll send you off to auction school, then you'll be nobody's fool. You can take your place among the best all together now. $35 bid, another $40, 40 bid, give me 40, make it 40 bid, I want a $40 bid, give me 40 bid, a $40 bid. $40 bid, now 45 bid, give me 45 to make it a 45 bid, 45. Who would have bid it at a $45 bid? You're not singing. So from that boy who went to school, there grew a man who played it cool. He came back home a full-fledged auctioneer. Then the people came from miles around to hear him make that rhythmic sound that filled their hearts with such a happy cheer. His fame spread out from shore to shore. He had all he could do and more. Had to buy a plane to get around. Now he's the tops in all the land. Let Paul give that man a hand. He's the best of all the auctioneers. $45 bid, another $50, 50 bill. They give me 50, make it 50 bid on a $50 bill. They give me 50, bid on a $50 bill. $50 bid now, 55 bill. They give me 55, make it a 55 bill, 55. Sold that goat for the $50 bill. Hey, well, all right, sure, open the gate, let them out and walk 'em, boys. Here we come a lot number 29 in. What are they going to give for 'em? I'm at 35 to give 40 now. 5 for the bid, $5 and $50, and they get 50, now 60, $75, $85, and I'm buying there. Hey, Bill, Lynn Anderson used to do that on the Lawrence Welk Show.
Helen Cornelius used to do it too.
You said everybody sing along. Lynn was singing in Johnny County.
Yeah.
Y'all, let's hear y'all do a chorus of it.
Helen can do it. Helen Cornelius can do it.
Who'd give me 30? Who'd make a $30 bid? $35 bid, not 35. Who'd give me 35 minutes? 35 minutes, 35. Sold it now for $35 bid.
Oh, that was very nice. Very nice, Lynn Anderson. Very nice.
Gladys sings harmony with me. When Gladys used to work the shows with us, singing harmony, she sang it in harmony with me.
How much paper did it take to write that song?
I used up a whole roll of toilet paper on that. No, I'll tell you something. I'm not a songwriter like some of you guys are. Bill Anderson is a master songcrafter. I wrote one song and quit while I was ahead. But I didn't plan to write the song. The best $300 I ever spent was going to auctioneer school, and which I did in 1951. And years later, I was in Korea, riding up down those dusty roads, and Bill probably has had this experience writing songs. They just come to you out of the air. And I know Jimmy Dean said he wrote Big Bad John in about 7 minutes on an airplane, wrote it down on an envelope. But the words of the music to that song started coming to me as I rode up and down that road one day, and I didn't pay any attention to it. About 2 or 3 days later, here it came again, and I didn't pay any attention to it. About the 4th time these words and the music started coming to me, I thought, somebody's trying to tell me something. So I went back to my squad tent, got my Sears Roebuck guitar, and sat down and wrote the song. It didn't take very long to write it, but it took me 2 weeks to learn it after I wrote it. Because an auctioneer doesn't do the same thing twice, but I had to learn it to do it exactly the same way every time. And the rest of this story is it's a true story about a man named Ray Sims. He's a second cousin of mine, the best auctioneer that ever walked. And the only thing that's not true in that song is there was a boy in Arkansas. He came from Missouri, where I came from, but nothing rhymes with Missouri. And you can't make anything rhyme with Missouri. Maybe Bill could, but I can't.
We got a couple of great songwriters in here. We're going to get to it in a little while. Ed Bruce and Don Schlitz.
Yeah.
Y'all be thinking of something to rhyme with Missouri.
I'm sure Ed can come up with something.
Well, he got me fired on a song that he wrote, yeah.
I did get you fired, yeah. Good call there.
I'd like to share a thing about Leroy's. I was in Kansas City one time. They took me down to the stockyards as part of the promotion for our show. And so they made me an honorary auctioneer, which means that you have to get up and act like him. And I was trying to sing the song in the back of my mind, and the best I could do was just, Well, come time now to be official, to be an honorary auctioneer, I've got to sell something. So they run this animal in, and the guy said, "Go ahead." I said, "This thing is for sale." and I tried to remember how it, and I said, "What? Anybody?" He said, "Ask if anybody wants to buy it." Well, this went on for about 10 minutes. Seemed like forever. Finally, this one old boy just looked up at me and he said, "I'll buy the cow. Just get him off of there."
Somebody pass this down to Johnny Lee. He's been pitching in without having a mic, but Johnny and that pretty blonde lady sitting behind him back there, Miss Lane Brody, have got a duet together. They recorded a big hit record, and Johnny, you definitely went way above yourself with pairing up with Lane Brody.
I did.
Yes, you certainly did. Do y'all still remember how y'all used to do the Yellow Rose of Texas?
I remember exactly how we did it. In fact, we still do it the same way, same key.
Mm-hmm.
There's a yellow rose in Texas I'm going home to see. Though other men have held her heart belongs to me.
You've traveled down some dusty roads, slept out in the rain, but this yellow rose is always here when you come home again.
Well, she knows I've done some hard times.
You stumbled and you fell, I just kept your pride from dying.
And you saved my soul from hell. She's a diamond of the desert, she's a golden flower of spring. She's a yellow rose of Texas, she can make a man a king. What a talented group of people. There's a yellow rose in Texas, she knows the dues I paid, and I'm going home to tell her I wish I'd never strayed.
You couldn't see beyond yourself, your pain and wounded pride, but now you know the truth is in the way you feel inside.
She knows I've done some hard times.
You stumbled and you fell, I just kept your pride from dying.
And you saved my soul from hell. She's a diamond of the desert, she's a golden flower of spring. She's a yellow rose of Texas, she can make a man a king. Yes, a yellow rose of Texas can make a man a king. How about that? She just sounds the same, she never changed.
Oh, thank you.
I think we all need to get together and thank Mike Johnson and the Nashville Car Strippers. They're doing a great job. And the Carol Lee Singers. Absolutely. Playing a lot of music. Lane, while you got the microphone, you don't need Johnny. Do a song by yourself.
Oh, I'd love to. I recently recorded a wonderful song that Jerry Crutchfield called me about, and he said, "Lane, I think you should sing this song," and I was so honored, and it did really well in the inspirational market this past year.
Don't forget our store down below where you can get Country's Family Reunion and Larry's Country Diner product.
He said, "You don't understand me. I hate living in this place." He walked out and slammed the front door in his daddy's face. He tore out of the driveway, squealed the tires just for spite, with his daddy on the front porch shouting, "You'll be back tonight." But at 3 a.m. he found him alone down by the lake. He wrapped his arms around him, that said more She left the doctor's office, lonely and afraid. A teenage girl in high school with new life on the way. What would the neighbors say? What would her parents do? How was Daddy's little girl gonna break this kind of news? Well, at first he hit the ceiling and Mama cried all night. But when the morning sun came up, they were right there by her side. That's where love comes in. That's where trust begins. When the healing starts and the hurting ends. When hearts break open, foolish pride wears thin. That's where love comes in. On a street in New York City, an empty, broken man crawls out of an alley, drops a needle from his hand. He finds a church door open and one light on inside. He gets down on his knees and he prays with all his might. He says, Father, I'm not worthy, but I feel you in this place. And the only hope that I have left is your amazing grace. That's where love comes in. That's where trust begins. When the healing starts and the hurting ends. When hearts break open and foolish pride wears thin. That's where love comes in. That's where love comes in. That's where love comes in.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Johnny. Thank you.
I told you you didn't need Johnny Lee.
What an honor to be here with all of you. Many of you I had the privilege of touring with and had so many wonderful memories and such good times, and I thank you for that. And I feel fortunate to have come into country music at the time I did to know all of you. Because you were
Beautify
kind.
any stage you walk on.
Charlie, I just got to say something real quick about... I have to say something real quick about Charlie. When I came to the country music, the first show, when I was nominated for Top New Female Vocalist, I was on the stage rehearsing, and all of a sudden I heard this voice yell out, Vorlis! And I was like, oh my gosh. And then again, Vorlis! And I look and it was Charlie, and that's my maiden name. And he knew my maiden name. And to this day, I don't know how he knew that. How did you know that? That's what I hear. But it made me feel so good, you know, because we had never even met.
How did you know?
I picked it up somewhere and kept it in there.
It was sweet.
In other words, he's not telling.
Can I say one other thing? Can I say one other thing?
Yeah, please do.
And that was the beginning for me when I first started to meet you all, and it was scary and everything. But I have to talk about Dottie just for a second, because Dottie was the one that came up to me, and she took the moment to give me a big hug. And my mom's here today watching, and she came up to my mom and said, I love your daughter singing. And she came up to me and gave me a big hug before I went on stage. And it meant so much to me because I was so scared.
Dottie West? Yeah. 2 or 3 people down on this end wanted to know who wrote the song you just sang. Did you write it?
Rob Crosby.
Now, you asked me a moment ago about, and you always said, how did I remember that? It's like, Sammy Smith. I mean, her real name is Rita Faye. So I just remember my steel player, his name was Gene O'Neill, and he told me that, and I just seemed like when some friends, they were born in November or September or whatever, So like Bill's a Scorpio, there's Jan Howard's a Pisces, he's a Sagittarius, she's a Libra, and Ed, he's Aries.
He knows it.
I can sit here and go putting everybody in here and tell
He
you.
knows it.
Mickey's the same, he's Pisces. Gene Watson, he's a Taurus bull. I mean.
And you know I'm a Cancer.
Moonchild, yes.
You every chance.
No, you don't. No, you don't. We're getting ready to go on a Grand Ole Opry.
Coming up on the cruise.
Hey, coming up on the cruise, and I'm gonna tell Rosine on you. So she said it right on the stage. No, she didn't do that.
What's James Gregory?
I don't know. I have. Let me. For a while, I'll just observe him a while. I stopped trying to do that. RCA, when I was selling a lot of records for RCA, people would be talking with a reporter or DJ or something. He said, and all of a sudden we're talking about records and this, and they'll say, "They tell me you can tell me when I was born." And I was about about 55% at that time, but they said stop doing that. So I stopped doing that. So I'll get lucky every now and then. Y'all see somebody that's definitely look real what they are, and I'll give it a pop. But
every time somebody used to ask me what sign I was born under, I'd always say, keep off the grass.
my wife at most point, they say we were born under on the sign on the side of the road. Stop sign.
Talking about names, I was in Cracker Barrel one day, and this lady said, "You know who you look like?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You look just like Doug Stone." I said, "I'm he." She said, "No, you're not." I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "No, you're not." I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Sing something."
Yeah.
So I sang something to her. She said, "That sounds good, but you're not Doug Stone." and she said, "Let me see your driver's license." I said, "Okay." I handed him to her. She said, "See, I told you wasn't Doug Stone." Says Doug Brooks. True story. She still didn't believe it. I said, "Okay, it's okay."
Did you change your name because of Garth Brooks?
Yes. Well, Kix Brooks and Garth Brooks came out at the same time. And Kix was doing his own thing, and Garth was doing, his own thing. And I figured I'd change my name to keep him from getting confused, and now I wish I'd just left it alone. Because I can see people now going to the record store going, "Was that Garth or Doug?" I could have sold 1 million records on them just guessing.
Charlie, would we have to twist your arm to get a song out of you?
No, I don't think so. Whenever I chance to meet some old friends on the street, they wonder like, how does a man get to be this way? I've always got a smiling face, anytime and any place. And every time they ask me why, I just smile and say, "You've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home." Though people may try to guess the secret of our happiness, but some of them never learn that it's a simple thing. The secret I'm speaking of is a woman and a man in love, and the answer is in this song that I always sing. 'Cause you've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home. Kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home, Lord. Oh, thank you.
notice everybody in this room was singing along with you? Everybody in here was singing along.
I noticed that.
That's when you know you got a great
appreciate that. I appreciate that, especially Jeannie over there, because we go back.
I grabbed that high fifth harmony above you.
Thank you.
That's the fun
Thank you,
part.
everybody. It's good to be here. I like doing these. This is my second or third one. This is at least my second one. I've done one before.
So we're glad you're with us, man.
Yeah.
Because you're one of the ones that you don't live in Nashville, so you came in
Yeah.
from Dallas to be with us, and that's
Yeah.
great. The fellow sitting back there next to Barbara on the back row wrote some of Randy Travis's biggest hit songs, like On the Other Hand and Forever and Ever, Amen. And he wrote a little song one time called The Gambler. And I know that he's as excited to be with us as we are to have him here. Yeah, Barbara, you may have to be the mic stand and hold the mic for him. This is Don Schlitz. Don, did you come up with a rhyme for Missouri for Leroy?
Well, Missouri, if you say Missouri, you got Shura, Pura, you find a Cura,
Sewer, if you say it just right.
If you say sewer just right, it'll work. Just right.
Suey.
I'm not sure
Suey
about
would
sewer.
really rhyme.
Yeah, we talked about songs that were that worked. Leroy was talking about a little while ago. I got him fired once with a song. If you can, he was reminding me this a little while ago.
You're familiar with the show Country Crossroads? Oh yeah. It was produced by the Southern Baptist Radio TV Commission, and when they started that show, they called Hubert Long. They were looking for somebody that had had a little radio experience and with a fairly clean pedigree. And so they put us on this show, and the first one was done live on 35 radio stations from the Hall of Fame here in Nashville. So I was on that show with Bill Mack. Bill Mack and I did the first one, and then Jerry Clara joined us later. And this guy over here came up with a song that I thought was hilarious. I thought it was very, very funny. And so I recorded it. And it was I thought it was a novelty, funny record. But keep in mind, it was for the Southern Baptist Radio TV Commission. Right. And the song was, Save Me a Seat by the Fire. It said, don't sign for... Said, no, seriously, it was funny, but it got unfunny. It's funny to me. It's funny to me.
It's funny to you till you got fired. It was still funny to me.
It didn't matter. It was a freebie anyway. But anyway, the punchline is, don't sign me up for no heavenly choir. Just save me a seat by the fire. Yeah. Now that's... So after 10 years, they found they didn't need me anymore down there.
Well, I feel badly for you.
It's okay. It's okay. I forgive you.
Thank you so much. Barbara taught me how to sing the auctioneer, though, over here, how to do the background part.
That'll work.
Watermelon, 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 watermelon,
That's
watermelon,
it.
watermelon,
That's
watermelon,
it.
watermelon.
You learn fast. Yeah. You're quick steady.
I don't learn fast, Leroy. That's one thing I don't do.
I think before you sing this, you should tell him what you told me about why they didn't think you could make it.
Well, I came here in 1973, not to the studio, but to Nashville. I came to the studio this morning, and it wouldn't.
It seems like 1973.
And I came from Durham, North Carolina. I got here as fast as I could. I had 3 wonderful semesters, all freshmen of college, and Duke University, and I decided that I should go find something else to do. So I came to Nashville, and everybody in Durham, not everybody, but folks in Durham told me, said, well, you can't go to Nashville and make it as a songwriter. Why not? Because John D. Loudermilk did. Oh. And you stop and think for a second. So wait a second. You said I can't do it because John D. Loudermilk did. Uh-huh. Well, is there a quota? So thank goodness there wasn't. And 4.5 very short years later of walking the streets, working as an all-night computer operator, and writing songs and trying to get anybody to cut one, I got my my very first cut, and this was a song that I don't try and sing it like Kenny Rogers because I'm no fool. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, So we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness. The boredom overtook us, and he commenced to speak. He said, son, I made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes. And if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. And for a taste of your whiskey, I will give you some advice. So I handed him my bottle. He drank down my last swallow. And then he bummed a cigarette. And then he bummed a light, and the night got deathly quiet. His face lost all expression. He said, if you're gonna play the game, kid, you better learn to play it right. Because every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. Because every hand is a winner, just like every hand is a loser. The best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. And when he finished speaking, he turned back towards the window. He crushed out his cigarette. He faded off to sleep, and somewheres in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. But in his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. But you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Oh, bless y'all's heart. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Man, talk about writing a song that everybody can sing. And Janie Fricke doing that. That was wonderful. Were you on one of the records? Because you used to do a lot of background.
No, but you were starting to make records, and you sang demos. I was lucky enough to meet you in the studio. Yeah. And, it's just one of the greatest things in the world is to live in the parentheses, Bill. And you've gotten to do both. And you're the hottest songwriter in America right now, by the way. Yes, indeed. And it's really annoying me. But it's a great thing to live, in the parentheses, because you get to usually live backstage. And that's the wonderful thing. I remember you and I were writing a couple weeks ago, and you told me about this, and I said, well, I'd pay to be a fly on the wall. And you said, well, come on and do it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I've been here long enough. And then I'm getting makeup, and I'm pitching Lynn a song of mine that she cut a few years back, and she's going like, okay, that sounds good. And I get to say hello to Mr. Jimmy Dickens, who I walked up and introduced myself to one time at a Waffle House, and
I know it was him.
Now, you know what? Because there are a lot of people here, you know who they are. I'm the one they have to. I should have a name tag on. Yeah, Mr. John Connolly over there did one of the greatest jobs ever on one of my songs. Sang a song called "Old School." Just made me so proud, and it's just so good to see y'all and to be here and hear the songs and the stories, and just like home.
Well, you're sitting behind a pretty talented songwriter there with the cowboy hat on the front row. songs like Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys and many others. Ed Bruce.
Bad timing.
Huh?
Bad timing. It was up for a Grammy the same year The Gambler was up.
Oh, no.
I can rhyme it. It's that stuff, I rhyme it with that stuff my wife puts around the house at Christmas. Potpourri.
Potpourri.
I'm from Missouri. That's right. What did you think of that, Leroy?
I said chicken curry.
Yeah, that's all right.
This is going to be one interesting song when it gets ready.
Doug and Leroy were telling a story about names. I was in an airport, I think it was Richmond, and I had flown in there from the road. I was way over here somewhere doing a show and left the band and flew to Richmond to be Grand Marshal at the parade. And we've been out a while, and you're back and forth. You know, it gets tired out there, doesn't it? And I was in the airport after I'd done the Grand Marshal thing there at the race, and a lady walked up to me. We're in the gate there, waiting area, and she walks up and she said, "Oh, I just love that song," whatever it was. She named something, and she said, "I saw you with Jim Gardner." He hates it. Garner in the series. Okay now, and I'm saying thank you, ma'am, and I'm tired. And I guess at some point she had second thoughts, because I'm not just really, I'm tired, you know. And she stopped and she stepped back and she looked at me. She said, "You are Bruce Lee, aren't you?" I gave her a karate chop.
I was with little Jimmy Dickens. You asked how they recognize. Jimmy Dickens is the most recognizable person in the world. But we were in the Nashville airport one day waiting on a flight, and this lady came up with her son and said, may I take my son's picture with you, and so forth. So Jimmy just obliged, as nice as he always is. And the lady took the picture with her son and kind of stepped back, and Jimmy kind of went on his way. And the lady and the little boy walked by where I was standing, and I overheard her. She said to her son, she said, "Just think, son, someday you can tell your friends you had your picture made with Ralph Stanley." Ed, can we get a couple of songs out of you?
Yeah. You want to be a...
Yeah, let me hold that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got the mic now. I got the mic. Whoa. I usually introduce this when I'm working, and I say he's one of my heroes, but Willie did not write this song. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Make them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, 'cause they'll never stay home and they're always alone, even with someone they love. Jimmy Capps played on the original record of this.
Join in, Jimmy.
Cowboy ain't easy to love, and he's harder to hold. And he'd rather give you a song than silver or gold. Budweiser buckles and soft faded Wranglers, each night begins a new day. And if you can't understand him and he don't die young, he'll probably just ride away. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Make them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, 'cause they'll never stay home, they're always alone, even with someone they love. Cowboy loves smoky old pool rooms, clear mountain mornings, little warm puppies and children and girls of the night. Them that don't know him won't like him, them that do sometimes won't know how to take him. He ain't wrong, he's just different. His pride won't let him do things to make you think he's right. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Make them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, 'cause they'll never stay home, they're always alone, even with someone they love.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Where did that come from?
I was hungry. We were doing a show in what was East Germany after the wall came down. And it was close enough afterwards that the difference in the two countries, just to look at them, West and East Germany, were so different. Because, under the communist rule, there's no, you've been there, you know what I'm...
No color.
No, it was no. It just wasn't neat, and very few people spoke English. We're at this amphitheater. I can't remember the name of the place. It's about 4,000, 4,500 people. This little amphitheater built out in the woods, and we got up on, and nobody spoke English, and even the buyer, the guy that bought the show, he's. Translating through one of the guys in the band that we had with us. Started doing the show, and they're waving rebel flags and American flags. When I started doing Mamas, now nobody speaks English. They started singing along with it, phonetically.
That's when you know you got a song. Keep your guitar. Keep your guitar a second. Let Buck Trent play your microphone stand again. Do that song. We got just about enough time for this. Do the... one of my favorites that you've ever done is My First Taste of Texas. Great song.
Are we doing that with the band or what?
Any way you want to do it.
Whatever. Oh. I guess I'll do it with the band. My first taste of Texas had blue eyes and golden hair beneath the Tennessee silver moon. We found a feeling we could share, and age made no difference. I'd been around and she was young. My first taste of Texas still lingers in my heart and on my tongue. Her gentle heart was broken in a way a tender lady shouldn't have to know. Mine was somewhere in between, something I should hold on to or let go. Her talking blue eyes told me the story of the love she failed to find, and without conversation, I suppose the lines on my face told her mine. My first taste of Texas had blue eyes and golden hair beneath the Tennessee silver moon. We found a feeling we could share, and age made no difference. I'd been around and she was young. My first taste of Texas still lingers in my heart and on my tongue. 'Cause we're not done, we've only just begun. Begun to love. I might ought to stand up for this. Now the two of us are one. Age has made no difference. We're still around and love's still young. And my first taste of Texas still lingers in my heart and on my tongue. First taste of Texas, they gonna keep going, aren't they? Had blue eyes and golden hair. We're gonna fade it, what? Beneath the Tennessee silver moon, we found a feeling we could share. And ages made no difference. We're still around and love's still young. And my first taste of Texas still lingers in my heart and on my tongue. I think they're gonna quit now.
Yeah.
Great singing, great voice too. Great voice.